Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Mr. Huxley's channel. Okay, now I'm on my third time trying to make this video. I don't like to turn off my notifications because I forget to turn them back on, and so I try to squeeze in a 30-minute video without getting a notification or some stupid reminder of an update going on. Excuse the chopper noise, if you can hear that. They're doing some work outside involving helicopters. But anyway, so so mainly the purpose of my content, it's not to necessarily become famous or make any money. I'm not here to wake people up. I'm here to destroy your worldview. Okay, there's people that, and if you, I mean, like, I openly wanted my worldview completely wiped, gone, like trying to destroy ego or something. I don't like the I don't like the falsehoods of this fake reality that's put upon us through devices, social media, the internet, the news, things like this. I don't like what I see in the response to the type of media that's put out there. Now, we have, my biggest problem is these people that, you know, whether they're Biden supporters or Trump tards or Q tards, like, I don't like it. I don't like it because I see what's going on. These people are completely manipulated. But I wanted you to refer to my last video where I spoke about the Smith-Mundt Act, and how in there it didn't necessarily say that they were using this on civilians, but I want to tell you how I think they're sliding it across to do so. Now, if you listen to these politician goons, how they want to say that the Democrats are a cartel that are completely against the Republic of the United States, and then the Democrats flat out call people from the MAGA group terrorists. There you have it. Ladies and gentlemen, they have made us the enemy. So I want to have a read really quick. This is just my opinion. Just my opinion. So I want to have this little bit of a read here and show you. So what a PSYOP basically is: the use of communication to influence behavior. It is used against adversaries, their supporters, and their potential supporters. It is defined by the U.S. Army in the following way: psychological operations are planned operations to convey selected information and indicators to foreign audiences to influence their emotions, motives, objectives, reasoning, and ultimately the behavior of foreign governments, organizations, groups, and individuals. Now, that makes me think about the Russia-Ukraine news that we're offered every day that I just have to call complete bullshit on, because it's this big, huge, from the pipeline to the missiles that hit Poland. It seems to be a big whodunit. Well, ladies and gentlemen, these governments are working together. It's a whodunit for a reason. Okay. Now, I'd, you know, like, I know that a lot of people, you know, would love more right now with the Russia-Ukraine stuff for somebody to find a passport like 9/11 and, you know, and get a story, but it's just not the case. You know, so whether it be Clayton Morris, Scott Ritter, what Zelensky says, you know, you just, you know, MSM, people of the internet, that are just saying things because it's a supportive statement to a certain group. I'm just not with that, and I hope a lot of other people wouldn't be with it either. So moving on with this, an important consideration here is that TA can be a group or individual. A TA is defined by the Joint Chiefs of Staff's publication Doctrine for Joint Psychological Operations as an individual or group selected for influence or attack by means of psychological operations. Now, what this means, and I know this by personal experience, they don't have to PSYOP groups of people. I'm telling you, from personal experience, the FBI does it, the NSA does it, the military does it, some police departments do it, but they're not, in my opinion, they're not good at it. The sheriff's departments do it, they're not good at it. And so moving on, PSYOP is used across the entire spectrum of conflict, with or without any accompanying military action, from special organizations to high intensity and low intensity conflict. This includes variations of LIC such as counterterrorism, peacekeeping, CMO, MOOTW, IW, UW, etc. Planning for PSYOP is the same regardless of type of warfare in which it is used. It is used in conjunction with all instruments of national power. Most information pertaining to PSYOP is classified. And that, folks, is another reason that I chose this subject matter, is because a lot of people will claim PSYOP and they don't even know what it is. They haven't read the literature. They haven't done their homework on it. They just are repeating the word because they heard it from somebody else in a lot of cases. There's a lot of people out there that do know and they're not talking about it. And this type of subject matter, I've done this before. I've had several channels. They really don't like people talking about this stuff. And if you take it too far, weird things may begin to happen in your life. I know that from personal experience as well. Moving on, despite the Army's definition, which states that it is only used on foreign audiences, the evidence presented so far suggests that it is being used on civilians domestically in the U.S. and elsewhere. As we've seen, it has been officially declared that the military is indeed working with federal agencies in the U.S. during the new war, conducting PSYOP as part of CMO. Furthermore, the Council on Foreign Relations considers PSYOP and NLW to be used on civilians. The Defense Science Board, another advisory committee to the DoD, announced in its Future Strategic Strike Forces Task Force report on February 2004. The NLW and PSYOP are to be directed at the physiological and psychological functions of specific individuals or the populace. So we might want to, maybe down the road, we will get into the physiological part, because I did find some kind of crazy information I didn't get into quite yet. You know, I don't know how connected physiological is with biowarfare, but I did find some biowarfare info that might fit in there. And I'm not going to go through this whole website because it's fairly long. But you know, I just want to try to ease my way into this, and so people can kind of think for themselves. Take a look at, you know, things like, especially TikTok. TikTok, that social media platform, that's the degradation of society right there. It's completely behavioral. Some of the things that I see on there are, you know, as far as psychology and mental health, some of the stuff I see on there is quite alarming, and it's really addicting. You know, but some of the behaviors that I see in there, I know that some of them are probably scripted and not real. However, some of the stuff I see on there, people, like mainly children, are going to probably try to emulate in their real lives and might land themselves into some trouble. You know, Twitter I don't use, Facebook I don't use because of the spying, things like this. So moving on, here's a good lead for anybody that wants to get into stuff. A book published in 2000 by the DoD C4SI Cooperative Research Program entitled Network-Centric Warfare, Developing and Leveraging Information Superiority, mentioned that information operations, PSYOP, will be conducted entirely in the civilian sector, where the military will be working closely with civilians. Although there seems to be a variety of ways it could be categorized, most military publications have it listed as a type of information operation previously referred to as command and control warfare. IO consists of 5 core capabilities that are used in concert with any related capabilities to influence, disrupt, corrupt, or take over an enemy's decision-making process. They include psychological operations, military deception, operations security, um, and electronic warfare and computer network operations. IO is basically a way of interfering with the various systems that a person uses to make decisions. Of the 5 PSYOP, MILDEC or OPSEC have been the major factors in most military campaigns. And so just to highlight this word OPSEC, it's Operation Security, and I've had acquaintances online that actually were working for OPSEC teams, and their job was mainly to find people that are on the internet that are corrupt, such as scammers, pedophiles, groomers, things of that nature, people that are doing fraud and things like this, and to have their accounts put out. Most of it happened on the Tor network. They weren't really doing anything on the clear web, which we're using now. They did a lot of their work on the Tor network because Tor networks are by donation only, and there is no entity controlling the information, and there's very little censorship there. You might get censored by a hack or a takedown or something like that. That's how they do it. They don't do it by just simply deleting your content. And so moving on, they have recently been joined by EW and CNO. Used in the combination, these core capabilities are the primary methods of influencing an adversary in this new type of warfare. EW, which includes interfering with the enemy's electronic informational systems and attacking them with direct energy weapons, as well as CNO, which is used to attack an enemy's computer systems, will be discussed later. There are other terms used to describe PSYOP, including military deception, effects-based operations, neocortical warfare, political warfare, and psychological warfare. The meanings of these terms will be covered at this time. So I guess I'm just going to keep going because this is very interesting, and hopefully, I just need to find a good stopping point. And I might pick this up in a little bit in a separate video. But I'm really after right now the PSYOP group and who they are, and there's very little information on them, like I said. But who are these people? That's what I'd like to know. The term moving on. The term psychological warfare is reported to have first been used in the English language in 1941 as a translation of the German phrase Weltanschauungskrieg, worldview warfare. That's kind of what I'm doing here. Kind of the same thing, reverse psychological operations maybe. But I'm not using propaganda to do so. And I'm not fibbing. I'm not telling you lies. I'm not here to lie to you. Which means the scientific application of terror and propaganda as a way of securing an ideological victory over an enemy. Some researchers use the terms propaganda and PSYOP interchangeably. So what I want to bring up here is the word propaganda. So when it comes to alternative media, which I think is a lie in itself to support this great awakening, there's a lot of people that like to use the words propaganda, and I think that when they're pointing the finger calling somebody a propagandist, they're actually hiding their own agendas and things like this, because it's easy to call somebody a propagandist and not give them the title of a psychological operator. And so I just, with this video, I think I'm going to close this out for now. You guys could look this up, and, I will get back with some other stuff, such as we will go over some field manuals down the road, and things like this, because I need people to understand that this war has been going on for a really long time. This psychological warfare has been going on for quite a while, probably my whole life. And now they have the devices to completely control it and it doesn't matter which social media avenues you use, which news you watch. Just keep an eye out and try to take some of what I brought up in this video and take some notes and maybe take a look at the world. Go ahead and use those social media sites and, filter through the information that they're handing you and really have a look and have a balanced view. Look at both sides. Look at both the right and the left. They're absolutely bonkers, in my opinion. Both sides are. I think that Donald Trump is going to try to come back, and he's a psychological operator himself. And we know this to be a fact because he was the one that brought in Operation Warp Speed, and everybody wants to lump his group of followers into the anti-vax group. And I find that to be a hilarity in its own. Anyways, I know this is a fairly not that in-depth video. It's just something that I had to bring up while I had the chance. Anyways, you guys take it easy. Have a great day. Be careful what you're ingesting on the internet. This is Mr. Huxley channel. Peace.